Hi, I'm Miss Sarah from the Gwinnett County Public Library, bringing you another episode of Backyard Biology. In this series, we look at things that you can find in your very own backyard. And today, we're going to be talking about lichens. Lichens grow like plants, but they're not plants. They're actually a combination of two living things. A lichen is part fungus. Fungi are things like mushrooms that you may find in your yard or mold that you find on old food. The other part of the lichen is algae. Algae is that green stuff you see in still water, like ponds. The algae and the fungus are cooperating to survive. They are living in symbiosis. The fungus provides water for the algae, and the algae uses photosynthesis to give energy from the sun to the fungus. Similarly to plants, all lichens photosynthesize. They need light from the sun to provide energy to make their own food. The algae in the lichen produces carbohydrates, and the fungi take those carbohydrates and grow and reproduce. The algae is turning sunlight into food energy, and the algae needs water, so lichens do too. When lichens are wet, they turn on and start photosynthesizing and growing. When lichens are dry, they turn off and become brittle and go dormant. The easiest way to tell if a lichen is dormant or growing is by looking at its color. The darker black or brighter green a lichen is, the chances are that it is photosynthesizing. If a lichen looks pale and is dry and brittle, then it is dormant and waiting for the next rain event before it can start to photosynthesize. So, what kind of lichens are there? There are thousands of species of lichens growing in different climates all around the world, but all lichens are one of three different types. The first is a leafy type called the foliose lichens, and they have two distinct sides and are usually bumpy and wrinkly. Sometimes they look like lettuce leaves. The second kind of lichen is the crusty type, or crustose lichens. They form a crust over a surface like a boulder, the soil, a car, or even your roof shingles. They can come in many bright, vibrant colors like yellows, oranges, and reds, as well as grays and greens. The third type is called the fruticose lichens. These sort of look like hair or like a beard. They're often shrubby or sometimes cup-like. Here are two different lichens together: fruticose kind and the foliose kind. So, where do lichens grow? Lichens need something to grow on. The thing the lichen is growing on is called the substrate. It can be a rock, a tree, a wall, a fence, or anything that has been staying still in the same place for a long time. Lichens are often found near places where moss is growing because they both like the same habitats, places where moisture can be found. Like moss, lichens do not use roots for getting water or nutrients, but they absorb these things right out of the air around them. This means that lichens only grow in places with good, clean air. You will not usually find them growing near busy freeways or factories where there's a lot of air pollution. So, if you find lichens in your yard, it's a good sign that you live in a place with clean air. So, what do lichens do? Lichens help people in lots of different ways. First, the algae part of the lichen produces oxygen, and all of us need oxygen to breathe. Lichens also directly benefit humans through their ability to absorb everything in the atmosphere, especially pollutants. Lichens can provide us with a lot of information about the environment around us. Pollutants in the atmosphere that are absorbed into lichens can be extracted by scientists to determine the levels that are present in our atmosphere. Lichens have also been used by people to make dyes and have been listed as ingredients in things like deodorant, toothpaste, and perfumes. And some lichens are even being researched by scientists as a possible source of medicine. Animals also use lichens. This bird has used a lichen to help waterproof its nest, and deer will eat lichen in wintertime when food is scarce. Lichens are really good survivors. The European Space Agency even found out that lichens can survive in space. When they sent some into space, they found out that lichens exposed to the vacuum of space, the cosmic radiation, and the huge temperature swings can return to Earth completely undamaged. Time to challenge yourself. Go out in your yard and look for lichen. Check the fences, the walls, the rocks, and the branches and bark of trees.
How many can you find?
This has been Backyard Biology, brought to you by the Gwinnett County Public Library. I hope you learned something interesting and new today about lichens. Don't forget to share pictures with me of your very own backyard. Anything interesting or pretty that you may see, you can email to backyardbiologygwinnett@gmail.com.
Here are some pictures sent in this week.
Bye-bye. See you next time.